Hey guys, thanks for checking out this new video. In this video, I want to talk about the books that made the biggest profound impact on my success in life and business. And a lot of these books, especially some of these first few books, made the biggest impact in terms of my mindset and how to build and grow a company. And they were quite timely in terms of when I had read it. I think oftentimes we select books, especially if you're in the personal development or business world, and you select books based on kind of what you're going through. For instance, if you're going through a particular problem of how to communicate certain things to a client or perhaps to an employee, then you might purchase a book on effective communication, emotional IQ, things like that. And for me, I had read these books that definitely made the biggest impact on my businesses, and then later on really helped with my mind, things like my mindset, how I kind of manage my day. And so I want to briefly talk about these books. So the first book is by Verne Harnish. It's called Scaling Up, and this book is all about systems, creating systems of how a few companies make it and the rest don't, right? There's only a handful of companies that make it to $1 million revenue, 10 million, $50 million, and $100 million plus. And a lot of it has to do with scaling. And so this is called Scaling Up, Mastering the Rockefeller Habits 2.0. And Vern Harnish and the team at Gazelles, that's what they call themselves in terms of those that follow the philosophy of building businesses through scaling up. The other books the other book that I read early on before or around the time when I started my business was the 4 Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Really popular book. Basically gives you a step-by-step guide of how to basically organize your day in order to get your time back and essentially do everything that you need to get done in order to make it a 4 hour work week basically. And a lot of it comes down to outsourcing, hiring, building systems, and really identifying what your goal is and how you want to achieve them. And so that's a really, really good book. I also got the expanded, updated version as well. So this is a little bit more newer version as well. So I'm definitely a huge proponent of books. I actually got a Kindle recently, but I still like the idea of, physical books. I love kind of putting tabs in it and making notes. The other book is called The Atomic Habits, really popular self-help book. Tiny Changes and Remarkable Results by James Clear. And yeah, really phenomenal book in terms of kind of how you want to make certain changes in your life that will make a profound impact in terms of your productivity and efficiency. And actually, many of the things that I kind of figured out because I got this book a few years into after starting my business. And so I think that definitely a lot of the things I was able to kind of confirm based on my experiences, but really good book nonetheless. And the last book that I want to talk about is this biography for Elon Musk. And as we all know, he's the founder of Tesla, SpaceX, the Boring Company, and yeah, a number of other businesses. And most recently, he purchased Twitter. And yeah, the reason why I love this book is because you can actually see, kind of understand the all the issues that a founder would go through. I would say when it comes to business, a lot of it is navigating through the day by trying to put up fires, you know, trying to keep things going and doing whatever it takes to make things work, right? And so I like it primarily because I love to read about, the stories of how a really successful founder came about, what was their upbringing like, what kind of led them down to the path to become successful. And so that's a reason why I really love this book. I think Elon Musk is a complete genius and just a phenomenal person, and living genius, basically, I would say. And so I use this primarily as a way to stay focused, always have the eye on the prize, and also, if you're ever feeling like things are not working out and you're feeling kind of down, you need to find little ways to actually make you feel uplifted again, right? And so just reading about inspirational stories such as this one really makes a profound impact for me, especially. So I really love books on, successful founders and leaders and whatnot, right? And so yeah, let's get started, guys. I want to first of all talk about Scaling Up by Verne Harnish. So yeah, this is one of the very first books that I read kind of before really taking my business to the next level. I had attended a seminar after finishing my MBA program, and it was held by founders and CEOs of multiple companies that whom have built up a business to a sizable amount, and some were able to sell their company for $100 million plus twice. And that was phenomenal because, first of all, they were all local founders and in the BC area, and you know a lot of basically all of them swore by this book, right? And so I'm like, I need to get this book, and rightfully so. It's a really phenomenal book, and it's the reason why certain founders just have a knack for just building businesses and succeeding in them, right? A lot of it is building systems, and so I'll just kind of quickly go over the table of contents because I think that it's really, really a great way to really showcase the value of this particular book. In addition to this book, when you go online, they actually have a number of worksheets and workbooks that you can actually work along with this. And so as you're building your business, then you can actually write things down. And fairly, I know a few other business owners that do this, and they are a huge proponent of building up their business. And I think that if you ever want to build the value of a company, you need to create those systems, right? And so here's like the table of contents of the book, and it goes from the introductions, kind of, the overview of people, strategy, execution, cash. Those are the main cruxes of this particular book of how to grow a company. You gotta have, the cream of the crop in terms of people. You gotta have the talent. You gotta have the strategies in place to dominate your industry. Tools for strategic planning, and in addition, further to the people section, it goes into how to attract and hire the best of the best, and keep and growing your educating your team. And then the the execution section of Scaling Up goes into just really identifying the priorities, focus, finish lines, and fun. You want to really dig into the data powering the prediction and forecasting. This is a really huge part. Meeting rhythm, the heartbeat of the organization. They really harp on the idea of beating to the drum of the company and just making sure everybody's aligned with the missions, visions, and the values of the company. Other aspects of Scaling Up is cash. So accelerating cash flow, driving profitability through accounting, and power of one. The 7 key financial levers. And so I believe that if you have these things in place, then as you build and scale your business, you'll have a lot more predictability and forecasting of the direction of the company, right? Some of the barriers here are leadership, infrastructure, and marketing. Without proper leadership, marketing, hard to have sales and growth of the company. You need to have the infrastructure for really sound operations. And as you build up value within the company, you'll find that you're able to recruit top talent into your organization, and that is also key, having a really solid team, right? And so yeah, this basically goes into depth in terms of the different sections, in terms of the sections that I just talked about. But as mentioned, you can actually find worksheets online, and also too, they kind of have a lot of these worksheets within the book as well, but they're kind of small, and so it's probably better to print them out and work together with them with your team, with your leadership team. I think it'd be really, really beneficial for you guys. Really good book, really good book. And yeah, as mentioned, the next book that really made a profound impact was The 4 Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And yeah, it's basically the caption here is escape the 9 to 5, live anywhere, and join the rich. And so he goes into detail of, how to eliminate 50% of the work in 48 hours using the principles of forgotten Italian economist, how to exchange a career for life, for short work bursts and frequent mini retirements, how to outsource your life and do whatever you want. So a lot of this comes from, you know, building out the systems and figuring out who to bring on in terms of first identifying what are the, it's kind of the Pareto rule is what they talk about, like 80%, you want to dedicate 80% of your time on the things that really make the biggest impact. And so if you're 80% of, for instance, your sales comes from a certain activity, you want to focus on that rather than just doing dead work, right? Another section that I really liked about this book was kind of reverse engineering, kind of what number in terms of pay you want to have and what will it take to achieve that by reverse engineering, what you need to do to get there. For instance, if you want to make $1 million, that's $83,000 per month. And then in order to make $83,000 per month, how do you divvy up the workflow in order to achieve that, right? Maybe you need X amount of new clients in order to achieve that level on retainer. And so really, really good book in terms of, I would say, being able to, find ways to prioritize what you need to actually focus on that makes the biggest impact, how to outsource, which is inevitably, if you have a business, you want to be able to make money work for you. And so, when you hire a team, then you can actually get your time back. And, that's where systems come into play, where systems from here, when you have things documented and have things in setting up procedures, you want to make it very simple for your team to be able to learn and understand your processes, right? And so, um, some tools and resources that you can leverage are mentioned in this book. I would say the older version is a little bit outdated in terms of that kind of content. The newer version is a little more updated, but we'll definitely go into a lot of, the different tools that you can use to, stay motivated and keep your team accountable, and help them onboard. So we use tools like Loom, what else? Zoom also to, build out training, have meetings online, have things documented within Google Docs, standing up procedures. But anyway, it's a really good book in terms of really, really, identifying what you can do to, op- you know, it's just basically opens up your mind and try to understand, what is possible in terms of getting your time back, basically. And so the other book that I wanted to recommend is The Atomic Habits by James Clear. And so yeah, a lot of the things that, as mentioned, I had known, but definitely it's really good to know, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. And so yeah, it's, a big part of it is, I think is being able to identify the things that really, make the biggest difference in your life. And a lot of times it's hard for us to get into a rhythm, but one of the key takeaways here that I got from this book that I really love and follow is you just want to make things as easy as possible for you, right? And so, for instance, for example, so creating content. If I had my cameras kind of big and bulky and they're kind of like put away and I have to spend all this time setting it up each time, it would probably be, really, really difficult to, have content created on a regular basis. Now, if I had something like a really simple setup and really easy to set up, it's easier to just kind of get things going as simple as possible and quickly as possible, right? Same thing with if, for instance, if you're kind of known to wake up and just be by your phone for a bit and just kind of waste your morning just kind of flipping through your phone, put your phone somewhere further away, right? And so just make things in your life simple in terms of getting things done, right? And so you want to simplify things and make it easier for you to actually get the things done that really, really matter, right? And slowly but surely, you're going to build these habits that, over time will make a profound impact. And then it just becomes easier for you to actually, it just becomes part of your routine, right? And so, even something simple as even cleaning your place, you have to do, clean the floors, do the laundry, you need to, dust, you need to do the a lot of things that you need to do. But if you have things kind of set up step by step, I also integrate that into my work calendar. So pretty much all the things that I need to get done on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, I try to put that all into the calendar. So I pretty much live within that calendar, the Google Calendar. Yeah, it's really, really important to be able to have, things in place to be really productive and stay motivated. And as you, get things done, it'll help you to have a more enriched life and happy life, right? So that's Atomic Habits. That's a really, really great book. Another good book, this New York Times bestseller by Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the Quest for a Fantastic Future. Really, really good book. I love this book because it enables me to really see the inner workings of kind of what Elon Musk had to go through in order to achieve the level of success that he has. He's the richest person in the world and wealthiest person in the world, and he's just, I think he's a living genius. And a big part of it is it goes into his upbringing, kind of, he had this always this seems like he had this mentality of having to figure things out on his own. He had to deal with a lot of bullies growing up. He had a kind of a rough child family life growing up, and so it seemed like he kind of had this like sense of he had to prove something. And I think that having the chip on your shoulder, it actually helps. As difficult it is to kind of go through that, it actually builds thick skin. And just going through that, I think that it you know it's one of those things where it builds a fire under you. You have something to prove mentality, right? And so this underdog kind of mentality, right? And it was really enlightening to also read about the fact that he had a lot of success with the sale of PayPal, and with the money he utilized to fund Tesla and SpaceX, and he was down to the last wire. He was almost about to have to close down one of the businesses, and basically put, it's either he divvies up the his money into both companies, or put all of the money into one company. And so is or put all the money into one company. And so, I think that a lot of business owners go through this. It's, you know, being, having your back against the wall and trying to figure things out and survive. And so, multiple times they almost went under, but he figured a way. I think that that speaks volumes on a lot of successful entrepreneurs, where those that are, that just kind of give up when things get really tough, they don't make it, right? The ones that make it are the ones that didn't quit and dug deep and figured a way to make things work. And I think that Elon Musk definitely embodies that. And I love reading this book because, as mentioned, I think that, I love to see kind of what possessed someone to reach this level of success and this drive and this grit, and try to understand that. And, it gives me a lot of sense of motivation and inspiration when I am kind of going through rough times as well. And so that's kind of my way to kind of feel uplifted and, and just feel inspired again as an entrepreneur, because it's not easy. I would say that building a business from scratch is probably one of the hardest things to do in the world. I would say that today there's a lot more opportunity, a lot more resources in order to start a business, but it's still difficult, right? And so A lot of it's mindset, having really positive mindset and figuring your way out, figuring out things to keep driving forward. And I think that if you do that, then there's no telling how far you can go in life in terms of your success, you know? And so I truly believe that everybody has it in them to actually have and attain success. A lot of it is mindset, you know, just grit. A lot of it is building habits, really good habits, you know, to do the things that make the biggest impact on your life, and just being able to always stay focused. And when you have those good habits, it just makes it a lot easier to kind of get through the day, right? And it just becomes part of your life. Also, too, like having the mindset of, you know, opening up your mind in terms of what is possible to get your time back, right? Outsourcing and hiring, and then having the know-how of building systems and how to scale a business. Why is it that only a certain amount of businesses make it to you know, $1 million revenue, and some make it to $5-10 million plus, or $50 to $100 million plus? A lot of it's systems and scaling, and so just being able to know the numbers, know kind of what is required, having the right people, cash flow is king, the leadership, you know, systems in place, really, really important. And I think that if you have, you know, a book like this that kind of walks you through, if you're not well versed in terms of business, then it's a really good book in terms of like understanding, you know, what are the levers that make the biggest impact in growing a company. And as mentioned, yeah, you know, it's the leadership, infrastructure, marketing, people, strategy, execution, and cash is really, really important. And you can actually find online variety of the worksheets that you can actually print out and work alongside your team and your exec team and your leadership team. And yeah, these yeah, that this concludes this really quick and, you know, book. So this so this quick so this concludes this video on the books that make the biggest impact on my business and my success. Let me know in the comments below which books. Let me know in the comments below if you've read these books, if they also made a profound impact on your life and your business and your success. What other books have you read that had done the same as well in terms of your success and habits and improved quality of life and business and success? But that's it. Yeah. Thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye now.